Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Slotkin. Senator Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Feinberg, congratulations on your nomination to serve as the Deputy Secretary. And certainly I'm happy we had a chance to meet in my office and talk about a variety of issues, including some of my concerns and focus areas for the Department of Defense. I enjoyed learning about your priorities for the DoD moving forward as well. And during our meeting, you mentioned AI modernization and strengthening signals intelligence in particular as some of your top priorities. So we certainly both share the same concerns about China's technological abilities and an assertive PRC, sponsored cyber actors that are really engaging against us on an ongoing, regular basis. So my question for you, sir, is if confirmed, what policies or initiatives would you change or initiate to ensure the DoD stays at the tip of the spear for signals intelligence? And two, how will you ensure the continued focus on our foreign adversaries like the PRC?
Signal intelligence is an interesting point. I think there's significant risk in our ability to continue being successful in that collection. It's probably a better conversation for us to have in a skip, but I think that is an incredibly important issue that has to be very carefully addressed. On the PRC side, I'm sorry, Senator, what was your question? I apologize.
Just how do we stay focused on them, particularly with signals intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, it's key collection tool. Our methods and means and capabilities are good, but there is risk, both from technology point of view as well as how we approach it. Tough to talk about in a public forum. It is something I do have a fair amount of knowledge. I'd love to talk to you in a different setting.
Okay, well, I'd love to follow up with you on that because I do believe it is critical, and I know that it's a priority for you.
Absolutely.
We want to make sure that we have the resources and the knowledge necessary to deploy effectively.
Yeah, and collection for us, especially on foreign technologies and knowing where they stand, is super important to know where we have to spend.
Right.
And if we don't have that, we're going to spend everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So specifically, artificial intelligence is at the top of that list as well. My question for you is, what policies or initiatives would you believe will lead us to ensure that our warfighting capabilities are developed not only for lethality, which is critically important, but also deployed responsibly, lawfully, and with appropriate safeguards for monitoring the procedures being used by these weapon systems?
Yeah, how you use AI is a tough balance, tough problem, because on one hand, if you don't have effectively the authorities to use it, we won't be as lethal. But then using these authorities at times creates those kinds of problems. Boy, that's a tough one. We got to carefully look at it in detail. Look, for example, we're very strong on offensive cyber. What should the great capability, not as good on defense? What should those offensive cyber capabilities, because it's a great asset of ours. You know, I look forward to working with you and other senators on that right balance. And I think those conversations are best in a SCIF. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Another topic for us in the future, if confirmed.
Yes, sir.
Currently, the Air Force is programmed to lose about 1,000 planes without replacement. This will further exacerbate the Air Force's current state of being the oldest, smallest, and least ready, perhaps in its history. Aviation leaders are characterizing this move as, quote, a death spiral, and commented that no enemy has done so much to harm the Air Force than the impact of arbitrary spending reductions. And yet, crewed aircraft were not exempt from Secretary Hegseth's directive to scrub 8% from non-lethal programs. Luckily, core readiness and the defense industrial base were protected areas in that cut, but I think it sends a conflicting message on the future of the Air Force fighter planes and missions. So my question for you, sir, is if confirmed, you'll be charged with executing Secretary Hegseth's priorities and helping him align the total force toward the country's national security objectives. Can you help give this committee some reassurance that the leaders at OSD understand the need to continue investment in next generation tactical fighters so that we can improve readiness and in the process surpass our adversaries?
Yeah, it's a really tough question. Some believe that we can go straight to full autonomous systems. We don't need a next generation fighter, and we could use the F-35 updated to meet as a strategy. Others feel we really need the next generation fight, despite its expense and difficulty. I'm not, subject. I don't have the classified briefings, nor do I have the classified briefings on China's J-20, which I think is an important consideration in that. But I do pledge to you that, if confirmed, I'll get right in the middle of those facts. Ultimately, that might be the Secretary's or the President's decision, but I look forward to working with you on that.
But you plan to dive in and offer concrete suggestions?
Absolutely.
Good.
And my opinion on what I
Right.
think we should do.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I got a promotion. I've got the gavel now. Hey, thanks for serving the country yet again and being willing to do this.